Hi, Cam. Welcome to therapy.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Good. It's good to be here.
I'm glad that you find it good to be here in therapy. Not a lot of people do. They'd rather not be in therapy, but I commend you for that. That's cool. My name is Celia Chillis. A little bit about myself. I am a student in school to become a counselor. So this is an assignment here that I'm doing. So I have a instructor that's overlooking this session with us. So I'm just going to go over some ethic concepts, and we're just going to go over some confidentiality and just get your consent to do this therapy, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Um, so you have the right to your privacy. You can disclose any information you would like. It's my legal duty as your therapist to keep anything you tell me confidential. Anything you tell me will not leave this room. It's a safe place. There's also privileged communication, which is a legal concept that will protect your information if we were ever to be summoned to court. Whatever, if in that case it would ever happen, just know that your information that you tell me will still stay confidential. The only circumstance where my obligation would change would be if I feel that you are going to hurt yourself or you're going to hurt another person. At that moment, I would, it would, basically my obligation would be over confidentiality at that point. It would be more about saving you or whoever I feel is at risk, okay? So at this time, do I have your consent to treat?
Yes.
I did inform you that this is a recorded session. Do I have your consent to release this video to my instructor?
Will you be releasing it possibly to the public as well?
No, it will only be me who would have this video and my instructor, and it's for grading purposes.
Yes, you have my permission.
Okay, thank you. So Cameron, what do you feel like is something you want to accomplish today in this session? What is a goal of yours that you feel like you want to reach while being in therapy?
Well, I'd really like to. It's been brought to my attention that I have trust issues, and I would really like to get over my trust issues so that I could have better relationships with other people and just deeper relationships as well with other people. Um, so yeah, so my goal would be to find a way to be a more trusting person so I could have better relationships.
Okay. Do you think that maybe these trust issues might have stemmed from your childhood a little bit? Or do you feel like you developed these trust issues as an adult?
I would say they really started in my childhood. Um, my stepfather wasn't a very trusting person. He was very, very paranoid. He was paranoid of strangers, family members, friends. Um, he typically always saw the worst in people first. He wasn't a trusting person at all, and that had a big effect on me. And when whenever someone broke my trust, um, I may have I may have made a bigger deal of it than what was necessary, and I would always just say, "Hey, that's what people do. People always let you down. People will always let you down if you give them the opportunity. So you can't trust them. You can't give them the opportunity to break your trust."
Okay. You said this stemmed as a kid. Can you remember the first time you felt betrayed and you felt like you couldn't trust again? Or what was the first moment where you felt really let down as a kid that you can remember where you basically were like, yeah, I can't trust anyone? Do you have like a memory as a kid that you feel like triggered your trust issues?
Well, I remember long periods of time really being alone as a child. I got into a lot of fights as a child. Um, for what reason, I don't know. But I think spending long periods of time by myself, and then when I would spend time with people, especially kids my own age, there were altercations a lot of times, resulting in fights. And so I think the combination of those two things, isolation and conflict, really brought up, really is a reason why I have a lot of trust issues today. Maybe that's where it started. Um, Maybe a couple of neighborhood bullies that I thought were my friends, or they were my friends at first, but later on they turned into bullies. Maybe that is a big reason why, because they broke my trust. Um, so that could be where it stemmed from.
So when you called them your friends, that moment that they initially hurt you, like how did that make you feel in that moment? So go back to that moment where you feel like you were betrayed by your friend, someone you looked up to and thought was your friend. How did that make you feel in that moment?
Felt low, I was too small to fight back. I didn't have anyone I could go to. Um, it typically happened while at my grandmother's house, and there's nothing my grandmother could do. She was too old, so I just had to rely on myself. And I knew I couldn't fight, so I would just avoid going outside at that point, or I would just try to make sure that they were. If I saw them coming, I'd try to get away from there as soon as possible. I'd run away. I'd try to find new friends. But it was also my first. It also resulted in some of my first real fights. A couple of times they would beat me up, and that didn't feel very good. And when my mom saw what happened, she freaked out and got very upset. And I just thought, this is what people do. This is what maybe this is what friendship is. You know?
If you were to run into those same people today, how would you feel?
I would feel. I wouldn't feel threatened today. I think maybe that's why I spent so much time in the gym and learning how to fight, because I didn't want to be put in that vulnerable position again. Because if you can't trust people to do the right thing, so because of that, you always have to be ready for them to do the wrong thing. And I said I won't let myself be a victim again. So maybe if I saw those people, maybe I would be on the defensive. Maybe I would be waiting for them to attack again. But yeah, maybe that's how I feel.
Do you feel like you have forgave them for what they have done? Or do you still feel like you still hold a grudge? Or do you still like you still hold some type of resentment towards those people who have broke your trust in the past?
Yeah, I mean, I've forgiven them. We're just kids.
How long did it take you to realize that you... So, sorry, let me go back here. So you just made a comment that kind of just stood out to me. You said we were just kids. So you dismissed their behavior for them being children. So Now this brings me to this. What's a situation in your adulthood where you feel like your trust was broken and it impacted you in a major way?
Well, I always do the things I say I'm going to do, and no matter what it is, I take it very seriously. Um, I'm not saying I always do it perfectly, but it always gets done. So when people tell you they're going to do something and they don't do it, it has a major effect on me, and I stop trusting in that person, and then I get upset at myself for trusting that person. So as an adult, situations like someone said they'll call you after they ate dinner, they didn't call you, or my dad telling me he would pick me up to take me to the movie theaters and didn't show up, or even though I was a young adult at that time, but or friends saying that they'll pay you back the money that you let them borrow, and they don't pay it back, or you let them borrow your car and they bring it back with no gas in it. Even though those things might sound small and trivial to some people, they're a very big deal to me.
Okay. So, why do you think they do those things? So, I
I
want
think
you to think about it. What's your excuse for their behavior that you feel?
I think that growing up, I idolized certain people, and they were looked at. To me, they're my heroes. Whether they were superheroes on television or athletes, they're very driven, very determined people that found a way to get the job done, no matter the cost. And that's something I always thought about in myself. That you don't always have to be the first one up the hill, but you do have to run up the hill, and these people couldn't do it. They failed me. I mean, why was it so hard to make a 3 second phone call, or to text me back, or to tell me you wouldn't be able to pick me up for the movies, or you say you were going to try to give me a job at your company and then I never heard back from you. Like those things say a lot about your personality and your character. To me, it's like a sign of laziness. It's not what the hero does. You know,
Have you forgave those people who have done those things to you?
I've forgiven them, but I haven't trusted them again since.
So, breaking your trust is a really big deal.
Yes, but it's like before they broke their trust with me, they broke their trust with themselves, and that's something I couldn't imagine doing. How do you let yourself down? How do you how do you not love yourself more than anyone else on earth? How could you ever hurt yourself? How could you ever lie to yourself? That's something I couldn't imagine doing. And the fact that they lie to themselves every day, if they betray my trust, and I might be a nobody to them, or maybe just a distant friend, if you break my trust, then I know you break your own trust with yourself more often. So, and how could you do that? So, I've forgiven them, but I don't trust them.
Okay. And how do you think these events in your life have affected your relationships you have now with people who may be good people? Do you feel like you're on the fence with people who you shouldn't be on the fence with?
I don't know. It's it's maybe, perhaps it's just if they. I don't know what to do after someone lies to you. Because that's also what I'm really talking about here. All those situations are pretty much or small or large lies. And I don't know. I'm always cautious about the next time that they'll lie to me. It could be something as small as, "Hey, I'll pick up dinner on the way home," or it could be something very big. And I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what it will be. I don't know if that person is just gonna if that was the only time that person will lie to me, or if they're lied to me 1,000 times. You know.
Have you expressed to those people what trust means to you?
No, because I always thought that's what trust meant to everybody.
So, would you compare your life to, let's say, my life? Would you say that I was raised the same way you were raised?
I don't know.
You wouldn't know, right? So, to assume that somebody would automatically know the importance of trust, don't you think that's a little too much, I guess? Don't you think you might want to kind of give them maybe a chance, or maybe
Perhaps, but they would have to show me that they're capable of being trusted again.
okay.
And it had to start with small acts, small things that then maybe bigger things. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but it would take time,
Okay.
effort.
So what I gathered from you since we've been here, Cameron, is that not trusting people has made an impact on your life in so many ways that you're just now realizing, right? And you're trying to get to basically the center of, why don't I trust people and how can I trust people again? Enough to basically live a normal life and have normal relationships. So I feel like right now, our session is kind of coming to an end here. So before we leave, let's set a few goals for yourself until next time we see each other. Maybe try making a new friend and try not automatically judging them on whether or not they're going to lie to you one day, or if you should really trust them, or should you walk on water around them, or eggshells. Or maybe if that's something you're not really up for, try a friend that you already have that has broken your trust once. Maybe try forgiving that one moment and trusting in them again, just knowing that maybe I can show them how much my trust, or their trust, or the trust I have for them means to me. Or just maybe sitting down with someone who has lied to you and hurt you, and letting them know, like, hey, when you did this one time, it broke my trust. It may not mean a lot to you, but to me, that mattered a lot. Start fixing those relationships that you feel like trust has broken. So that's a goal. What do you think about that? Does that sound like something you can do?
Yes, I think those both sound like goals that I can accomplish in the short term. So that in the long term, I can become a more trusting person.
Of course, and you took the first step to that, Cameron. You came to a therapy session and you sat down with a stranger and you put your trust in me. So you already made your first step in that trusting process. You sat here and you trusted this information with me, and you didn't even know me. So that says a lot in itself. You can do this. This might not be the easiest ride or the easiest journey. We might hit some hard lumps in the road, but we're going to get through this, and we can, as long as we work together as a team, we can get that trust back that you're missing.
Thank you. Your words are very encouraging.
Yes, of course. Until then, Cameron, it was nice meeting with you today, and that concludes our session. And remember what our goals are and what are we going to do before the next session.
What was this? What was this type of therapy that we used? Thank you. I appreciate it. This was a great therapy session.
Yeah, of course. And until next time, but I do want to make sure that you understand what is our homework before the next session.
Find a new person. Try to make a new friend. Maybe trust in them. And also try to repair the trust with some of the people that I have currently in my life. Some friendships or relationships of any kind, and try to get that trust back.
All right. Well, that concludes this session. Thank you very much, Cameron, for coming in today, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.